It has been a while since we drew a Monsterverse. So, Godzilla, King of Monsters poster versus Ghidorah. So this is like where Ghidorah is kind of wrapped around him. I think someone sent me like a super thanks, like a while ago, like a bit of money on YouTube. So if you're watching this, thanks. And I'm sorry it took so long, but we got there. I was checking super thanks and I was like, oh yeah. So let's draw this landscape page. Pencil eraser, hit pause. If I go too fast, we'll just start drawing Godzilla. So he's like looking up. Not a lot of detail in the face, hell of a lot of shadow, so I might have to make it up a bit. But we should be all right. So he's got that square snout, and I think it's best to start there. Quite small. So we just go up, across the top, down towards the eye, right? So this will like bend itself sort of around his cheek, I guess, kind of here. Like, and this is his nostril that he has, that in that square sort of snout area. So his eye is kind of in here, right? It's very small. He's looking up, sort of down into there. And you can't see, it's just a glowing blue eye. But if you wanted, you could do like a little sort of line like that, like a little dash sort of line. And then his eyebrow. There's not really a frown because we're looking underneath, but just for the purposes of illustration, maybe I'll just do this with some wrinkles and eyelid lines and stuff. All right, it's kind of bumpy coming around here because we eventually get like spikes going down the back of the neck. Yeah, so like he's got sort of this bumpy sort of eye area. And like spikes start to go down that way as well. And so Godzilla, I think in this version of Godzilla, we've got those, those kind of cheek lines as well. This stuff. Can't remember really. It's like that, kind of. Am I right? It's been a while since I drew them, so I can't remember. And then, so the mouth sort of comes around. He doesn't really have a gum line. It's like his teeth come out of his skin. So we'll do this, and we'll go kind of bumpy down to this sort of cheek area. And then the inside of the mouth comes down there. And you always have that like piece of skin that joins the jaw, the jaw, top jaw to the bottom. Just kind of like wrinkles and stuff, just dots and textures as much as you want, to try and make them look a bit reptilian. And then we got the teeth, right? So rows of teeth. They're kind of like, the biggest ones are kind of in this spot, kind of just coming down, and then they get like pretty small going around the mouth. Right, and then the bottom jaw, so the bottom jaw kind of just comes up like so. And then we'll join it back up to the side there. Teeth. Quite small again as we get back. And then there's just like a tongue sticking out here. Disappears, it seems, into the back of his sort of jaw in there, so can't really see much of the bottom of it or anything. And then there's like that skin that holds his jaw together in there. And maybe some teeth just coming around the back here. And we got like wrinkles and textures and all stuff on the face, dots and circles and stuff like that. Right, so shape for his neck kind of goes this way usually. Now this is all in shadow, so I'm kind of drawing this from memory, so forgive me if it doesn't make a lick of sense, but we've drawn Godzilla enough times that we should know. Ghidorah's thing is going around him here, and usually Godzilla has like a couple of rows of spikes, so I would say there's like a row of spikes here, and maybe like another one in the middle. I'm probably going down the back of his head then. And then in the middle, he usually has like an armored throat area. It's like, goes down here, usually right in the middle of his neck. Right, it normally has like armor plating. You know, like just bringing itself down that way. With some verticals on it there. And then of course he has his gills over here, usually. I think there's 4. Could be 5. But we'll do 4. And that means that we should see roughly some over here as well. And then just neck dots and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so then the front part is just like snake, like a snake's body. Ghidorah just wrapping around him. And there's a Godzilla hand right here. It's under a lot of smoke, so. But I can see it. I know there's a hand here. And then Godzilla's back. So we get like some spikes and stuff. But the back generally goes down this way, and we get like his shoulder muscle in here. And then more textures and stuff. So this is all like wrinkly skin and bumps and all sorts of stuff. And this is the tricep area, which joins to an elbow usually. And then that's the forearm, which kind of just becomes the hand, kind of. It's not. One, two, three. How many fingers does Godzilla have? I'm gonna guess like maybe just 3 fingers, right? So we'll just go down as far as we can. There's a nail here. They go off the page. Okay, it's kind of like a big fingered hand. And then Godzilla seems to have a big hand here as well. So does that mean, so what am I looking at here? So like there's like a finger, big nail here. Here as well. And this seems to join Godzilla's arm, which goes down this way somewhere. So then this is his hand, but then Ghidorah's snake-like body just goes this way. I think. Maybe we should see, so that's the hand. So in the arm, not sure where the arm goes really there. It's obviously bent elbow back up to there, like his shoulder's in here. So that's Ghidorah. So it's probably just like maybe like his forearm maybe in there somewhere. Right, so I'll just put textures on his skin, especially on the knuckles of his fingers and stuff. Just make him look curved. So just adding these crisscross lines to make him look a bit wrinkly. Right, Ghidorah has like two parts to the body, so we'll do this for this part. And this is like the scaly part. And then there is this, like a typical sort of dragon belly, you know, curving around. And then it just goes that way. And then we have all of Godzilla's fins, like coming down from behind. So lots of these now. Let me see. What we got one. Yeah, they kind of like overlap. So there's like one here and then one in behind. think more of his back maybe goes that way. And then there's all these sort of textures on his like fins at the back, like all these curvy lines that come around them. My head was probably in the shot there. I was probably like blocking it, was I? I thought I was there. Righty. That's not bad. That looks like Godzilla. Put some textures on Ghidorah's thing there. Okay, so that's the king. So we got to do the 3 heads of Ghidorah, which is tricky enough. And then I'll do, yeah, so we'll start with this one over here. Let me see. So I'm working from a couple of different images now. Now they're quite blurry, so we will do our best. Okay, so Ghidorah's snout. We'll start with snouts. Just get this sort of shape for the dragon head. This is also how to draw a dragon. Right, so this is like his nose, right? So it's like this curvy line with a nostril inside. And then this comes down this way. Kind of goes underneath the eye and it joins like a big spike back here. So like this is like his top lip. Okay, so in this sort of dip here, I think that's where his eye is. Right, so he's got a big crazy Chinese dragon kind of frowning like eye socket area just here, right? So a big frown there, and then a glowing yellow eye. And we'll do just like a snake-like eye there, and then some frowns on the other side. This comes back to a big sort of spike back here. How far back does that go? Maybe about there. And then he's got some fins on top of his head. Right. So I remember drawing this before and it took me quite a while, so hit pause if I move too fast for you. And like, so these like sort of horns have like textures on them going that way. What the hell am I looking at there? So I think so, like his bottom jaw seems to go like this way, right? So he's got like that piece of skin like Godzilla does, this sort of pink that joins his jaws together, and he's very long jaws. So I think we go just this way. Everything's kind of in shadow, but I'll do that. And then there's rows of teeth. Yeah, so we'll do this the easy way. So we'll just add spiky teeth. It just goes all the way back to his mouth in there. Remove the back of the mouth. And he has that piece of skin on the other side, like this thing. And then like a really big long tongue. So we got like some textures in the mouth just. And then teeth. Do, 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 do. Can't see teeth over that side. Maybe like one or two just in there, but the tongue I think is covering most of that. And then his chin seems to have some spikes on it down here. And then we go back to the jaw, which I think should be fairly spiky as well, right? So like kind of like this. And then we'll put textures all on the skin, dots and circles and reptile stuff. Right, so 4 more longer horns, I think. So this one probably won't fit in the image I'm drawing, so I could probably stop there. It seems to join back into the head this way. And then another one going down here. Fit that one in anyway. And then a smaller one there, maybe. Some like detail lines on this. Okay, so then Ghidorah's neck, sort of this snake-like sort of neck just going that way. Right, you can kind of see like some lines on the back, maybe the front as well. And then he's got this sort of like, I guess it's like a snake belly area. That's all I can sort of describe it as anyway. So he's got these like, these lines coming along this side of his neck. And there's like reptilian stuff, scales and stuff all over here. Just gotta do this twice more. So That's very dark. Wait. Okay, we'll do. Try this guy. So we'll do the snout over here again. Then like curves around his lip. One more sort of side on with this one. Get some wrinkles around the nose. And then again it comes down underneath the eye. And we have a heavy frown here. This is like the eye socket area. Like that. And then maybe like a nose thing there. So this guy's turned a bit differently. So you could just copy that head if you wanted, but I'll do it as close to the poster as I can. Got like wrinkles on his lips and so we'll go this way. Like a big wavy sort of horn. And then another one underneath. So this one's actually kind of in front of this one. So that one's there. Comes back in. You know, with the rain in the background, you can probably hear that. It's very sort of stormy here at the minute. Yeah. Right, and these horns have like all texture lines on them. So you just go sort of down like this. Maybe just go in the opposite direction then. And then this one goes in this way. Back down towards the jaw. Yeah. And then there's like right, and then his jaw sort of goes this way, right? So we've got like that piece of skin there, and then the jaw goes down quite long to these little spikes on the chin. lots of spikes out here as well. And then there's like another horn. Spiking out this way. If there is another one there, I can't see it. But I imagine if he has one, maybe there should be like another one. I'll just do some textures on his jaw here. Right, so we can see teeth and stuff, and maybe some teeth around the back end. You know, like this on the inside of the mouth. Teeth here. And then on top. Okay, and then this Ghidorah's neck goes back there. And like he seems to have some, it's like a wavy thing. Like a little spike coming off here. Right, and then the body goes this way. So then, so I think, so if this part of the neck, I think will come out here, kind of. Maybe that goes that way, kind of. So if that's, yeah, maybe here. Right, this is kind of that armor plated region. This is just a normal scaly part of the neck. Alrighty, number 2 down. Let's try the main one then, which is like looking dead on, dead center. How are you getting on? You surviving? It's hard. It's a hard one. So we got, say, the nostrils of the snout, like right in the middle. And then it kind of bumps around the nose here. So then this is like, look, this guy looks like the dragon from Lord of the Rings. Okay, so this is like the mouth and snout. And I think it just like goes underneath his eye here. So it's tricky to draw him from this angle now, so take your time. So we got like a frowning forehead here. And then a frown. On the other side here somewhere. So this line goes the whole way back to like a pointy section, like back up here. And it comes all the way down to there. And then this one then, so we got this. But it kind of joins his head up here. Okay, we'll go this way with it. But it kind of comes around. Up the middle there, so it's like the middle. Tricky, that one now. So we just have kind of the side of the face in here. There's another little horn, like all these bumpy things in there. So roughly about here, I think I can see an eye. And then similar on this side. But difficult. Okay, that's hard. It's kind of easier when they're turned to the side, isn't it? So then there's like another spiky horn this way. Comes down to his mouth there. And then his mouth goes real long then down this way. Curving around his chin, then back up to like here. There's like some spikes and stuff coming off this, and there's some spiky bits here as well, and another spike going that way. Maybe a smoother one there as well, like a fourth one, maybe. Oh man, that's tricky. I would not blame you for smashing the screen. That's hard. That is difficult. He's the hardest one. I don't know, it's the angle of it, right? And then we gotta add like details onto this, right? Just textures and stuff. Right, and then teeth. 2 big ones. And then some in the middle. So his mouth is pretty open wide, so that's like his jaw. And then there is that piece of skin, but it's very narrow. It's just there. Can't see it on the other side at all, but should be here. I'm going to add it here. And then we get teeth. We can kind of see directly into his mouth, so the teeth kind of stick up a bit. And then kind of a long tongue then just down. Teeth here. Can we see into the back of his mouth? No, it's just dark in there. So that's the hardest one, definitely. I hope that wasn't too soul destroying to draw, because it was pretty difficult for me even. Okay, so he has like a batch of fins coming up the back of his head, so we got like a series of spikes going this way. Do any of the rest of them have those? No, just him, just the middle one, maybe. Series of them coming down the neck. So this one goes right in behind Godzilla, and then out here, and then we keep going with some of these spiky fins. And then we have this sort of throat area again. So normal sort of dragon scales on this side, clusters of circles together, you know, little wrinkles and dots and stuff. But this is the sort of armored sort of thing on the belly, sort of armored plates. Okay, that was a long one. That was challenging. But worth it, I think. It's pretty cool. Hope it's helpful. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.